All right, so Codex 5 is officially out, or okay, the real name is GPT-5-Codex, but honestly, I'm just going to call it Codex 5. Naming is not OpenAI's strong suit, but you know what? Whatever, because what's inside actually matters for once. This episode is going to be my honest, straight up recap of the OpenAI podcast where Greg Brockman and Thibaut Socio go deep on Codex 5. If you're a solo iOS dev like me, living in Swift UI and Xcode, building with AI tools like Claude and Cursor on the side, you're going to want to pay attention. This isn't just hype or another AI changes everything pitch. I picked out three core takeaways that I think are actually relevant if you're building alone and want to actually work faster, not just collect another tool for your stack. Play the podcast if you want every detail, but these are the three things that stood out to me as a solo dev who's been burned by agent hype before. Just real quick, I'm Daniel. I've been in the iOS trenches for nearly 8 years now, mostly freelancing, helping clients ship their big ideas. But since Dub 25, I went all in on solo dev, shipped over 10 of my own apps, started building everything in public, and lately, I've been pouring my energy into Crafters Lab, a real home for solo builders and AI-powered devs who treat AI like an actual teammate, not just a vending machine for code. That's where I'm sharing all my articles, design resources, and source code. Basically everything I used to put on Patreon, but now on our own indie platform. It's private, it's focused, and honestly, it's just for solo devs who actually care about the craft. If you're one of the 260 folks on Patreon, heads up, we're moving over to crafterslab.dev. All right, let's jump in. The first thing that really hit me in the podcast is how much Codex 5 isn't magic. It's a lot closer to having a junior teammate join your project than it is to, spinning up some all-knowing code oracle. Greg and Thibaut talked a ton about this idea of the harness. They kept coming back to how, with code, the harness, basically the environment, tools and workflows wrapped around the model, matters just as much as the AI model itself. If you've ever tried to get help from Claude or even Cursor, you already know the pain. If your environment is weird or your code base is full of little quirks, you can't just throw stuff at the AI and expect genius to come back. What Codex 5 really changes, for me at least, is that it actually expects you to teach it about your world. You've got your own scripts. You bounce between Swift UI and some Bash weirdness. Your Firebase setup is one step away from collapse. That's all harness. The more you surface that context, the smarter Codex 5 gets. It's like onboarding a new teammate. And the kicker, OpenAI's engineers know that. They literally built Codex 5 to be more agentic, but only when you set up the right environment and habits around it. They talk about files like agents.md, just a living doc where you drop all your quirks, constraints, and do this, not that reminders. The more you document and share your real workflow, the less time you waste re-explaining your setup every session. So honestly, if you try Codex 5, treat it like onboarding an intern who's super fast but knows nothing until you show them. All those little docs you keep in Notion or your repo, that's not busy work anymore, and it's how you get the AI to work for your style, not just spit out generic boilerplate. So this is the section where I started nodding along because Greg and Thibaut finally said the quiet part out loud. Building solo is exhausting because you're doing every job yourself. You're the builder, tester, reviewer, and usually the only person to blame when you ship a bug at 1 a.m. The Codex 5 approach is weirdly close to what actually helps in solo dev life. Don't just fire off, write the code commands. Start every big task in explore and plan mode. In the podcast, they explain how Codex 5 is built to be a collaborator, not just a code vending machine. You can have it read your files, summarize what's happening, map out dependencies, And here's the real win: ask for a plan before touching anything. What's wild is that OpenAI's team literally works this way. They'll have Codex 5 explore a gnarly bit of code, make a plan, check it with you, and then write code. And yeah, it gets even better when you let Codex review its own changes or double check PRS before you merge. If you've ever spent a whole day fixing a bug only to break 3 other things, you know exactly why this matters. Codex 5 isn't perfect, but it can act like a hyperactive junior dev, always suggesting, always reviewing, always ready for more context. And honestly, the relief is real. You get out of that cowboy coding loop and into a rhythm where you're thinking first, then building, then checking. So if you take anything from the way Codex 5 is meant to be used, it's this: treat every feature or fix as an explore, plan, code, review loop. Don't rush. Let the AI do the boring rud and summarize stuff. Ask it to catch things you missed and use it as your permanent code reviewer who never gets tired of looking at the same PR for the 10th time. All right, this is where Codex 5 just flat out jumps ahead of every AI coding tool I've used. The podcast really drills into something I'd only heard rumors about. Codex 5 can actually run long tasks across multiple tools for hours at a time. T-Bolt says they've seen it do 7-hour code refactorings. That's not just a little better than GPT-4 or Claude. That's a whole different league. What does that mean for us as solo developers? Here's what I see. You can finally set up an agentic workflow where the AI doesn't just give you a snippet and bail, but actually powers through real migrations, refactors, or even test writing sessions without falling asleep or losing the thread halfway through. But even more useful, you're not stuck with one workflow. You can have Codex 5 running in your terminal, your IDE, even across multiple sessions at once. The team literally describes spinning up different agents for different tasks, like one for UI work, another for backend, a third for documentation or automation scripts. Suddenly, you're not just solo anymore. You're running a little squad of bots, each with their own focus, each learning your quirks from your agents.md or claude.md files. It sounds a bit sci-fi, but for me, the bottom line is flow. If you're deep in feature land, you can let Codex 5 grind through the boilerplate or the slow refactors. If you're debugging, you can have a separate agent hunting logs or testing edge cases. And when you hit that classic solo wall, like juggling too many tabs, forgetting what you were doing last, Codex 5 is finally at a place where you can hand off the parts you hate and actually get back to the fun side of building. So yeah, that's my real in the weeds recap of the OpenAI podcast on Codex 5. This isn't just another AI model drop. It's actually built for our world, the solo dev hustle, where you're doing everything yourself and need a teammate who never sleeps, never gets bored, and if you do a little extra work up front, actually remembers your weird style. If you try Codex 5, start small. Get your agents.md set up. Try the explore/plan/code/review loop. Spin up a few agents if you're deep in the zone. And yeah, keep the documentation going. If you're building something weird with Swift UI, Xcode, or your own scripts, I really want to hear what works for you. Drop it in the comments, DM me, whatever. I love swapping notes with other devs who are figuring this all out in public. And if this video helps you, or you want more of these deep dive real world breakdowns for solo devs, you know what to do, like subscribe or send it to another indie who needs an AI teammate that actually feels like a teammate. Until next time, keep building, keep experimenting, and don't let the tool parade wear you out. Codex 5 is real, and this time it might actually stick. Peace.